Welcome back to A Fine Time for Healing, a place where your physical, emotional, and spiritual well being are all that matters. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's show. Today, we're going to be talking about the topic toxic positivity, which is really interesting because we all think that being positive and saying affirmations and, you know, shining all the time is really the way to do things. But today we have Satyen Raja, who is the author and CEO of WarriorSage Trainings. He is an authority in organizational dynamics and workplace culture. Um, and today he's going to talk about the detrimental impact of toxic positivity and provide actionable insights for revitalizing workplace environments. So let's find out just what this is. Hi, Satyen, welcome.
Thanks for having me here, Randy. So we've all heard of toxic negativity. That's when someone or others or ourselves are stuck in a negative rut. And so we're fuming about something, resentful about something, having a negative emotions in ourselves, and we allow themselves to fester and then start breaking ourselves down internally with negative mindset and such. And that becomes if you will, there's an aura over our heads, a gray cloud, and who wants to be around that? So we all know about toxic negativity and its effects because it's immediate. We can see it. Toxic positivity is the other side of that. It's also an illusion. It's also not our truest self. It's not our authentic self as well, because now instead of being and presenting and living and expressing who we are genuinely in a very clear, real way, now we have a veneer, a false veneer that we have on top of us, which is aiming to exude a positivity, but underneath we also still could be sitting on top of negativity, emotional charge, mental confusion, and any type of rift that we might have with others. And so this artificialness, whether it's negative or positive, has the same end effect, and that's distancing ourselves from others, closing ourselves off even more, and not being trusted. So that's part of the, if you will, the detriment of being in this false state of positivity all the time.
Okay. So besides preventing us from processing our emotions and overcoming anxiety and distress, are we prone to passive aggressive behavior, or how is this is it more a problem for us or others?
It's actually a problem for all of us, each and every one of us, the one who's exuding that type of behavior and the ones who are around it. And we all go through this here and there. What I'm sharing is that when we're not in our authentic self, then we have to compensate for it in some way. And why this happens is because on some level, we feel that we will not be loved, we will not be accepted, we will not be allowed to be in the crowd, in the group, if we share our true, authentic self in a grounded way, in a non-injurious way, of course,
Right.
in a way that's real and connectable. But since many people don't have that sense of I can be safe around others. Others will love and trust me and accept what I have to share without slamming me down. And this unconscious fear, and actually could be a conscious, valid fear, depending on the environment that they're in, makes them go into a state where they're not expressing who they are. They're expressing a falseness. Now, we see in the last, 20, 30 years, we have so much more new age, spiritual teachings, positive mindset teachings, affirmation teaching. I believe this is all excellent, all brilliant. It's a counter to years of automatic, let's say, negative or default neutral thinking. These type of teachings of improving our mindset, which I'm also, very, very close to and is part of my life. It has its power and validity to pull us out of pull us out of when we're in a really down state. We can reframe our thoughts, we can reframe our mindset, and that's great. But if we get stuck in that mindset, we become like this false character I've seen where, there's movies, humorous movies made on people who are like Stuart Smalley, always saying something positive on the outside. But then we don't know the real person. What's going on behind this person's expression? What are they really feeling? What do they really think about me? And what is their true self? This is what we're yearning for in real connection and are losing out with this false positivity.
Do you think that people that are always joyful, do you think it's possible to be perpetually joyful?
Well, for the rare person, yes, but all of us have ups and downs days. Everyone has cycles that go up, cycles that go down. We all have challenges in personal matters, life matters, family matters, health matters, relationship matters. We also have challenges in our workplaces with others, people, time frames, overwhelm. The gamut goes on. How we face the challenges of life is we could do this in a more mature, conscientious, enlightened way, or we can default to our automaticities and our primal brain core, which puts us in a primal fight, reactive type of state, or fawn and shut down. Or in today's coping mechanism, it's a coping mechanism, this false positivity. Another coping mechanism around us, it keeps us from feeling the tough stuff inside, keeps us from avoiding all the pain, the suffering, the tough stuff that we have inside, and we stay cloaked. We keep it on top of it by this positivity, which then gets more negative underneath, becomes more toxic. And then when we've had enough of this positivity and someone triggers us in the wrong way, bam, out comes the volcano. Bam, out comes all this excessive reaction, anger, saying words you don't want to say. And then after that, the emotional crash of regret, and then pulling away, and then staying in your own world and realizing, what did I do? This is the roller coaster that happens when we stay suppressed. Positive negativity, that type of state, right? That positive stuckness is a um, is a keg house. It's another form of suppression of our true self.
Hmm. Yeah, I hear often from people who say, well, I have a really hard time expressing my feelings. I don't like conflict, so I hold it in, I hold it in, I hold it in, and then bam, something mild happens, and I just let somebody have it. And I don't really like that about myself, but like, you know, I don't know what to do about that. And I think we need to have a full range of emotions. We need to be able to express a full range of emotions, not in extreme ways, but I think that makes us approachable, normal, vulnerable. People don't like somebody who doesn't act human.
Exactly. If we're always this automatic robot that's pleasing all the time, or irritable all the time, either side is a stuck state. And anytime we're in a stuck state, we're not expressing our true self. Now, what I truly believe is the most nourishing thing for all of us as humans is when we are vulnerable enough and strong and courageous enough. It's a combination of these. Vulnerability is a form of courage. It's a form of gentle courage. When
Mhm.
we're able to express ourselves as we are, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, ecstatic, sad, challenged, overwhelmed, super happy, when we're able to express the whole spectrum, it's so valid and nourishing for our own soul and those around us. You know, in the teachings of yoga, before we do this, the physical hatha yoga, the actual physical yoga, the preliminary foundational moral steps, if you will, or spiritual principles to uphold are called the yams and niyams. So in my Indian tradition, the yams and niyams, things to uphold, things not to take on so much because they lower your vibration, and things that raise your vibration. And so The first things that they teach is this: ahimsa, then satya. In other words, ahimsa means first be non-injurious as best as you can, then share the truth. Don't just share the truth of yourself. Well, I'm feeling really, and then you can lace into someone and I hate you and I'm angry. It could be the truth, but if it comes with spikes, comes with vitriol, comes with that sourness, comes with that anger, comes with that projection, then it's truth said, but in a harmful way, which is actually harming yourself and harming the other. Who wants to listen to that? And then you harm yourself out of regret and doing things that are against your own nature. And so this is one of the practical tips is how do we deal with this? Well, first of all, we have to recognize what's really true in ourselves is important and valuable to express. That we should love ourselves enough that what's underneath the surface that we have to take as gold as well, that when we express it with non-injuriousness, that we're not aiming to harm another, we're actually sharing what's authentic inside ourselves, and but taking responsibility for ourselves. I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling overwhelmed, not you're making me sad, you're making me angry,
Right.
because that's with injury. I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling overwhelmed. This type of expression about taking responsibility of what you're, and I'm feeling happy. I'm really feeling joyous today.
Mhm.
This ownership that the emotions are generated within ourselves rather than anyone else to blame for it. This is one of the most powerful steps to go from reaction to response and real relating.
Very well said. I like that. Thank you. That's really, really well said. Um, Often if we're around people who are perpetually happy, we feel like there's something wrong with us. And I have a sibling who just always said, I just want to always be happy. And there was a facade all the time, all the time, all the time. This peppy, but behind closed doors, she was so low. Her energy was so low and depressed. And it eventually caught up with her. She died. She died of an autoimmune disorder. Um, I think we must be genuine with ourselves. And what you were saying about accepting ourselves, good, bad, whatever it is, this is something, one of the first things I work with when I uh, coach people who are victims of this kind of domestic abuse, because they've been told that they don't matter and they don't have a self. So it's very interesting because when I help someone or ask somebody to start defining who they are, at first they're really reluctant. Um, and then once they get going, they really get going. But the question I get a lot is, really, I can be who I want to be? This is a very common issue. Have you heard this?
Yes, we have a culture where being who we are is not loved and accepted, which I think is the main suffering that we have in the world. I think it's the core of our suffering is the lack of embracing who we truly are, because on some level when we were children perhaps we didn't get the love, the attention, we didn't get the acknowledgement that who we are is unique,
Hmm.
that who we are is a one of a kind, a special gem on the planet never to come again.
Yeah,
And we if we didn't receive that level of acknowledgement and praise, then sometimes our psyche forms in a way, our psychology forms in a way that always wants to get attention, that wants to be loved and accepted, as a mechanism to try to get attention, right? And
right.
so when we try to get attention by a strategy and trying to be always positive, suppressing and sitting on top of our true self, our true feelings, is a strategy for getting love, attention, connection, and
Mhm.
understanding.
Right.
But it's not the most enlightened strategy because it backfires, because people are going to feel after a while this, as you expressed, this positivity is not true. It's not really, really true. So another powerful tip and valuable way to deal with this in ourselves and in others, in ourselves, when we're feeling that either we are suppressing, hiding, burying, or suppressing true feelings for whatever reason, because we all have something hidden, buried, and suppressed in our communication. There's others that we want to share with something that might be difficult, challenging, we don't want to hurt them, we don't want to hurt ourselves.
Right.
We fear there's repercussions. We might lose connection, we might get fired, we might get scolded. Who knows? All these unconscious fears are within us, and so we hide, bury, and suppress our emotions. A way to start healing that and opening that is simply saying, hey, what I'd love you to understand about me is when we are understood unconditionally and when we share about ourselves, Randy, what I'd love you to understand about me is, and then let's say there's someone who's in this state of, stuck positivity, this toxic positivity. Hey, honey, what do you want me to understand about you?
That's a good way to approach it.
Yes. Tell me something. What else would you like me to understand about you?
Mhm.
And just keep asking them the question. I really get your positive and such. What is there anything else you'd like me to understand about you? And just with that open, caring, open question, it allows your friend, your colleagues, your teammates, your family members, your spouse, your friends to start saying, they're asking. They really want to know what does Satyen want to understand about Randy? What
Mhm.
does Randy really want to understand about Satyen?
Mhm.
And that starts opening a beautiful gate in which this falseness, this veneer starts to
Right.
relax,
Right.
and the person starts to feel, oh my goodness,
Mhm.
they love me, they're accepting me. They take a little step in sharing themselves. You
Mhm.
go, thank you. They take another little step in sharing more of their authenticity. You say thank you without trying to fix them, without trying to give them advice, without trying to redirect it and give them a higher meaning, or you could do it this way. When we just say thank you, what else would you like me to understand about you? I really want to know.
I like that.
This this is powerful. This is like $1 million question.
It is. That is so easy for us to do. Um, I always look for that vulnerability in people. That's what makes me comfortable. I don't want to know that somebody's got it all together, okay? Because I'm not going to buy that, you know. But I like people who show me who they are. It's okay. I don't mind, the good, bad, and ugly. And I don't mind, the positive things. I think it's, we have a range. Do you think that corporate culture is one that preaches this toxic positivity? Like you have a leader that says, okay, we're going to do $1 million in 3 months. Okay, we can do it. You can do it. Now, is this motivational or is this toxic positivity?
Well, it depends on where we're coming from as the leader, as the guide, as the motivator. And so, yes, I believe if we're running an organization in leadership, there is a forwarding movement, there is a vision, there is a mission that should be aligned around. And as a team, we're all rowing towards in that same direction. So, good leadership involves and includes inspiring teams as a group and individuals to all row in the same direction to find a higher meaning and a higher value and a higher, deeper purpose than just the paycheck. And that's the power of a really great leader.
Mhm.
Also, a power of a great leader and a motivator and an inspired is the ability to see that the and to discern and to look at the true emotional field and to read the emotional field of their teammates. There's a genuine feeling when people are rowing in the same direction, going for a vision, a mission, a purpose, and goals in an organization, when it's coming from their engagement, when it's coming from their true authentic self and they're bought in. The vision means something to them, and the mission has elicited something in them that evokes a higher meaning. Now it's not just willpower. Now it's not just positivity that's put on, if you will, put on positivity, toxic positivity. Now it's okay. Today's a stressful day, but we're going to keep going for it. Wow, that was a challenge. We're going to keep going for it. That's much different than, hey, everything's going to be perfect. Everything's perfect. Everything's going to be all right. This veneer falseness. How do we foster that as a team leader? We have to go around, read the emotional field of all our teammates, and then strive for them. And when we recognize, hey, listen, we're having challenges, it's also okay. And I encourage you all to also share your stresses with me, also to share what's not working. Where are the bottlenecks? And what's that make you feel like when you hit these bottlenecks? What's that costing you? What's the effect it has? I want to know. So, as a leader, when we want to know the effects of the challenges, we care enough to know the challenges our teammates individually and as a collective are having, going towards that noble vision and mission and goals that we have. And we say, okay, great. Tell me authentically, please. I want to know what else is going on. What else is going on? Let them share the good stuff, the bad stuff, the ugly stuff, the great stuff. And when you can make, as a leader, the space for them to feel it's safe to share any of it, by saying, thank you, I got it. Thank you, I got it. Thank you, I understand. Do you have any solutions? Do you have any ideas? Have your team thought about what we can do together? No, we haven't. Okay, let's do a huddle and let's air out what the challenges are and let's see what best ideas we have to come together to fix this, to right this, to remedy this. But we want to make our teammates also heroes for expressing the truth,
Okay.
not just the good stuff. Let them become a hero in your books by letting them be authentic and praising and giving validity to their authenticity.
Wouldn't that be wonderful if all bosses and company managers and CEOs knew that? That would change everything. But there are people that are narcissistic, egotistical, power hungry. It's all a compensation for something else. But they take on these roles. And what I know about narcissistic personality disorder is there are many leaders that have it because first of all, they're so charismatic that they just rise to the top very quickly. Everybody wants them. Everybody. You don't know who they are. It's the leadership of countries, government, all of that. There's a lot of that going on. But, a boss that really values each person on that team creates people who are invested in the goal of the company. Everybody wants it to work. So yeah, so when the boss is saying, we can do this, everybody wants to do it, right?
Exactly. And so, I've been mentoring companies. We have our training called the Executive Black Belt, where we train executives and CEOs in a very potent system which supercharges teams, that basically turns any team into a super team and turns super teams into like creating the extraordinary. And in our training, and the companies that have taken this on, the essence of it is mastering human dynamics and having the leadership team become the transformational guides and the human dynamics experts in their organizations. And we've seen remarkable changes in real estate companies, tech companies, you name it, when the whole leadership understands there's 5 elements in my philosophy of this, going from egoic power to enlightened power. Egoic power is, as you said, the narcissistic power, the false power, the power of the ego, not the power of our true self and our authenticity.
Right.
Enlightened power is being sourced in a vision, a mission that means something greater than us as individuals, and finding and instilling and awakening that in our teams, and then finding our true power, which is our authentic self. not the false self. The false self is the one that we've been curating to present ourselves for the purpose of moving up the corporate ladder. And the paradox is that one will eventually get fired without even knowing it. And the authentic ones in this era, forget any past eras, that might have been true in past eras, but in the era we have today, the most authentic, successful individuals and organizations are the ones that are grounded in their authenticity, in their strengths, and know their weaknesses, and are emotionally agile. They've learned to get much more in touch with their emotional tapestry. And this is wisdom.
Yes, it is. It takes a really special person to want to invest that, you know,
Exactly.
not only in themselves, but in their employees.
The cutting edge organizations, the ones I'm very blessed to work with, are the ones who not only invest in the leadership themselves, they invest in their teams, raising the emotional intelligence of their teams, raising the coherence, how everyone flows together. So for me, one of the other pillars is going from a closed heart to everyone connected at the heart level, opening the hearts of each other in our teams. This starts to heal negative toxicity and negative positive. All of it starts to heal it all. You don't have to be excessively positive or excessively negative when you're in an authentic place. And how do you do that? I call it the all for one, one for all, the Three Musketeers mindset. And one of the things I do with teams, I sit down with them. Let's say I just did this a couple of weeks ago in Austin with a marketing team and another in a real estate company. And I had them sit in a circle and I had them all say to each other, okay, listen, Randy, something uh, that can elevate my reputation and success and significance
Mm-hmm.
that you could do is this. When you do this, you raise my when you share with my who I am and my work with other people, you raise my significance and reputation.
Mm-hmm.
A way you can lower my reputation and significance is don't tell anyone about the power of my work. Around you tell everyone, raise each other's significance and reputation.
We're having a
And
little
way
bit,
they've
we're having a technical issue.
lowered hear with each other. Everyone becomes an advocate to raise each other's significance, raise each other's value, raise each other's reputation in the company. Now we have a specific way of not doing that, of lower, how not to go down the road of lowering it. This
We're having technical difficulties. Satyen, if you can hear me, your screen is frozen. I don't know why. Um, Maybe you can go out and come back in, if you can hear me. Okay, there we go. Okay. I don't know why this happens. All right, here he comes. There you go. Thank you. That's
okay,
better.
we're back.
That's better. Yeah, did that quickly. Great.
Okay, good.
Okay. So yeah. So some of that got garbled. Can you
Yeah.
say that again?
Yeah, so I'll say that part again.
Okay.
Just cue me up again on that.
Um, we were talking about, an authentic
Oh,
boss and oh, you were talking about a group when you can
yeah, yeah,
say
yeah,
to
yeah, yes.
people,
Okay. Okay. So one of the exercises I do in organizations,
Mhm.
I just did this with a leadership team in Austin, Texas,
Okay.
of a real estate company and a marketing team. I
Mhm.
sat them down with each other in a circle, and I said, "Okay, Randy, a way that you can raise my reputation and success and significance in the company, in the world is," and I would tell, and the way you could do that is by sharing my work enthusiastically with others. A way you might lower my reputation and significance is, and I would share with you that, okay,
Right.
you're enthused about my work, but you don't tell anyone. And so I would do this with each member, and have
Mhm.
each member of the team do it with each other. And it was jaw-dropping. Everyone got an exact manual on how to raise each other's significance and reputation, and they all went for it, and they knew exactly what to do not to lower each other's significance and reputation. The bonding, the heart connection, the camaraderie, they got lit up. It's like now they're on fire to help each other's significance and reputation. Because here's the thing, what's toxic is when you're just trying to raise your own reputation and significance for your own ego. The whole idea of going up the corporate ladder usually traditionally meant that you step on other people's heads, you decry other people, you don't share where other people are doing well. You're highlighting, showcasing yourself, of
Yourself.
course.
Mhm.
But here you're showcasing the team.
Yeah.
And when they're doing the same to showcase you, so now the heart connection goes way up. The
Incredible.
camaraderie, the teammanship, and then you're all for one and one for all. That's a beautiful way of having an organization because you're all rowing in the same place. And then you get to lift each other up when one of you's down, sad, a little challenged, you've had a rough day, a rough week, a rough month. This this is amazing teammanship. And I believe that's the era we need to be in now to have a sustaining business, one that people love to stay with
Right.
for years to come.
Yeah. Just off the top of your head, can you think of an organization that we may all know about that you feel is run this way?
Hmm.
I don't mean to put
Well,
you on the spot, and if you can't, you can't. I'm
well,
just curious.
I know one in Austin, Texas that I've started. It's called Casoro Group. It's a group
Okay.
of 5 real estate organizations,
Okay.
and they're a prominent real estate group in Texas, but they're unique. Each organization within it is very different. 5 separate, very different organizations, from construction to merger acquisition, all types of different realms, totally different realms, but they all are in synergy together because the leadership had the courage to want to be the cutting edge in their team dynamics.
Right.
And look, the most brilliant CEOs know this now, that the potency of the organization is the potency of the team dynamics. The success of the organization is the success of the team dynamic. We know this in families. The success of a family is the dynamics of the family relationship.
Absolutely. Hmm.
So it's the same in an organization. Why this hasn't dawned as common sense and it's only coming now, it's because we're going from seeing people as chattel, as human resources, as being transactional beings,
Hmm.
to real humans, humans with souls, humans that have meaning, humans that have desires and souls, like in life. When we have that view as in our leadership, then magic happens.
This is the evolution of humanity right now. Yeah.
Exactly. We're going from me oriented
Hmm.
to now moving into we, and then ultimately all of
Oh,
us.
right, right. I mean, this is an amazing thing, and this is happening I mean, it's happening everywhere. The whole earth is evolving. We're shifting. Um, and this is just, it's so hopeful to know that this is the way things can be, because right now we're at each other's throats. It's awful. So many, just in general,
Yes.
countries against countries, you know, politicians within their own leadership, and it's so this is a really, really important topic to bring forth because um, not only does it give people kind of the incentive to maybe change things, change the way they interact with people, and ask for how they would like others to interact with them, uh, but it changes the whole nature of business and leadership globally. So I think it's brilliant. I really do.
Thank you. I've come to realize, as a business owner, I've started 8 businesses. I've been an entrepreneur since young. I come from an entrepreneurial family. I saw early on my parents, having a restaurant business in Ontario, Canada.
Mm,
I saw how my father took care of my of our what happened was my father had made money in another business, invested in a restaurant. The manager partner was going to run the business. He was the investment side. The fellow um, didn't show up a couple of days before the grand opening of the restaurant. My family was thrown into running a big 300-seat restaurant, not knowing anything about how to run a big restaurant with
Wow.
300 seats. And 2 days before the grand opening, I was young. I was a teenager. My parents were really stressed, but they had to learn. And what I saw was really beautiful. The impression I saw that my dad had no idea what to do. My mom had no idea what to do, but they said, here's our responsibility. We have to at least start with our team. They had a team. The manager had hired a team. So we just came in. Okay, I'm Rasik Raja. My mom, I'm Daksha Raja. We're gonna have to figure all this out. We're new all this to this today. And what I saw was my father and mother loving and taking care of their team and their customers. I saw that whenever there was something off in a meal, something not right with someone,
Hmm.
my dad would not only take them food back, he'd give them a fresh hot meal, but then when they got the bill, the whole table wouldn't get charged.
Wow.
No one on the table, even for a small thing. And they
Wow.
were so like, what's this? No, sir, you weren't fully satisfied. We want to make it right. The loyalty, the amount that he had to spend to pay for all those meals
Hmm.
versus the lifetime loyalty of those
Right.
customers
Hmm.
who came back again and again and referred because they were like, wow, these people care about us and they're treating us above and beyond. That air went into our whole team. My dad said, if this happens to anyone, any customers, doesn't matter. They're love them, care about them. So this beautiful environment I grew in, where my parents loved their customers, it made their business just by word of mouth grow and grow. Their teams were so loyal; they stayed with them through tough times, thick times, challenge times, and have them to really I have my parents to be grateful for, Rasik and Daksha Raja, for showing me how love and care can be the foundation of running business.
That's amazing. That's so beautiful. What rare people they are. I mean, I think we all have been to many restaurants in our life, and maybe, yeah, maybe they might take something like a discount off your price, or maybe give you a free dessert or something like that. But to have the whole table, that is incredible. But I think everybody can see where that would pay off in the long run.
It's the
I bet
it's
they had lines out the door.
we had such a loyal customer
Hmm.
base
Hmm.
because of the connection,
Hmm.
because there was a feeling that whoever you are, however you are, you're welcome here, and we're human too. And my parents would welcome the humanness in the team, the humanness. Of course, where the expectation is we're on point, we're 100%. But if stuff happens and we're challenged, we cannot ignore the ebbs and flows of our humanity. And that is wise, enlightened leadership.
It's This involves really hearing what other people say. And like somebody can come to you and say, this person isn't, I just can't really make this friendship happen, and or a friendship with a family member or a sibling or something like that. And you're saying to somebody, listen, I really can't have this relationship because I don't feel the respect and the acceptance, only to have somebody say, well, she's family. So you kind of have to, you know. So I'm very straightforward with people. I believe respect is a two-way street, even with children. How I raise my children, respect is a two-way street. So to me, there's no shoulds, We don't have to treat people a certain way if they really don't deserve it and they're trying to hurt us.
It's so spot on what you just said, Randy. So spot on. I believe our number one responsibility is to our own authentic alignment
Hmm.
inside. What
Yes.
makes me feel aligned? What makes me feel whole? It would have, it can be framed as being selfish. And there is a form of selfishness where it's me, me, me. And that's not the selfish I'm talking
No,
about.
no,
I'm
no.
talking about the responsibility of, first of all, owning that my emotions are generated in me. You're not doing, I can't blame you if you're acting in a certain way. Yes. But if I go, look, you're doing this to me, I'm not taking responsibility that I'm hanging out. Why did I have to sit there for an hour and receive your yelling at me and now shut down and complain about you? No, I allowed myself to sit in that yelling energy
Mhm.
as an example, or that toxic energy. What in that is about me that allows me to do that allows me to fail myself
Mhm.
and allow myself to say I should just sit around and let this happen. So to what I aim to do in training our teams and our organizations is, listen, if this is happening and there's others around, you're responsible for your own alignment. If that means you got to say stand by. So one of the trainings is, one of the practical aspects is, if that's happening around you, you don't have to interrupt in a rough way. Hey, don't do that, or hey, this. Just say stand by. Simple. Stand by. This is not working for me. Or stand by. I'm going to just take 10 minutes. Stand by. I'm going to disengage in this conversation. It's getting a little heated for me. And I'll chat with you a little later when I'm a little bit more grounded. So
Wonderful.
that little artful, loving, gentle, not aggressive stand by. It's a stand for yourself
Yeah.
without making anyone wrong
Right.
or making them right.
Mhm.
And so that's a little base standby, taking a breath, taking a minute. Okay, I'm responsible to get back in touch with my authentic alignment. How am I going to get
I
aligned?
like that word, alignment,
Yes.
because it really kind of explains the whole thing, like self-love, self-esteem, self-protection, those kind of things sort of are aspects of it. But I love the word alignment. I'm going to be using that. I'm stealing it from
Yes.
you. No,
Said
I
it.
like
It's
that because it
self-esteem.
helps us to understand we're trying to get ourselves aligned. Okay. It's just the perfect word. Okay. It's a great word.
Exactly. And you said it. It's getting back to self-love. Starting first of all, I love and I respect myself.
Hmm.
I love and respect what I'm feeling, even if it's uncomfortable.
Hmm.
Usually and here's another part of this is very potent, very powerful. So whenever I have negative emotions or I'm training in teams and I'm showing people have tension, negative emotions, this is the part that tends to be suppressed. Suppress the negative stuff. The way to deal with it internally is, let's say, for example, I'm angry. What I say to myself is, I love and I accept this feeling of anger coming up in me because it's a part of me. I don't have to set aside the anger to get to love and acceptance of me. I love that I'm feeling down and really overburdened right now. I can love and accept I feel down and burdened right now.
Hmm.
I love and I accept I feel happy and joyful right now. I love and I accept I feel beaten down and angry and I just want to lash out. I want to yell. I love and accept that part of me. And it's by embracing the shadows, the light, the dark with personal love and acceptance generated from within yourself for those more difficult emotions, that is transcends the illusion of this veneer. And this is where we start walking the path of healing and enlightenment.
Hmm.
If we do this, we'll actually go deep into healing, our own healing, and deep into personal enlightenment by owning and loving and accepting whatever emotions, especially the hard ones that
Hmm.
arise within us.
Yeah.
and not denying them, suppressing them,
Hmm.
avoiding them,
Hmm.
pretending that they're not there, or trying to do something with them.
Acceptance versus resistance, and that's that's a hard concept for some people, that why shouldn't they resist something that isn't working or doesn't feel comfortable? But it's like a fish in the water. If you just think about a fish in the water, if you're just a fish, it's like, okay, I'm gonna just go with the flow of the universe. If you can just ride the waves of the universe, which is going to go up and down, you're going to have all kinds of things. I know for me, there's been some holistic health issues my entire life, and it used to really freak me out. And I used to say, oh God, it's back again. I'm going to have like 3 days of this. Now I just go, oh, hello. You're here. Okay. So today we're going to entertain this, and maybe tomorrow it'll be better, but we'll just ride this out. It's the only thing that I could do, because when I began to resist it, I just felt worse and it prolonged it. So, and we all have things that we're up against where resistance feels so uncomfortable. If you just go, all right, that's the way it is. Let's go with it, And that may sound kind of like toxic positivity, but it's acceptance, and this is what you're talking about. And I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on boundaries? Where do boundaries come in here, if at all?
That's a good one. Well, boundaries are sourced in love and acceptance of ourselves,
Right.
right? It's
Right.
not something to protect us. It's self-love.
Hmm.
It's a form of saying, I love best when these boundaries are in place.
Yes.
I can totally relax fully when these boundaries are in place. So in the workplace situations, I think some healthy boundaries are to have and hold for yourself and your teammates is no aggressive communication,
Hmm.
no putting down or insulting communication, no no criticism. We can have critique, we can have feedback, but no criticism with that sharp edge.
Hmm.
And and at the same time, um, we allow we put those healthy boundaries for the purpose of non-injury. So
Yes.
we're not going in the space where there's non-injurious attitudes, or sorry, injurious attitudes or
Right.
injurious mindsets.
Right.
And so how do we do that? You take responsibility for what's going on for your inside of yourself, and it's a blame-free culture. So one of the things that we install in the organizations I work with is a blame-free culture. How can we make it so that if there's a challenge, anything we need to deal with, that there's no blame or shame going on, there's open discussion without individual criticism, and that everyone is brought to the table, and there's exact specific ways, processes we use to awaken what the truth is underneath what seems to be the surface problem.
Right.
On top of any surface constant challenge or fire that's coming up,
Hmm.
there's a misunderstanding that's not being addressed.
And we live in a blame culture,
Yes,
unfortunately. I
yes.
There's nothing uglier to me than that, than blaming somebody for your inadequacies or your faults. I find that just despicable. I can't tolerate blame. I hate it.
Blame and shame is the building blocks to war.
Mm,
Because once I blame someone, they're going to feel that, and they're going to now put some bricks on front of them,
that's right.
and then they're going to speak from not their true self, which then the other person will go, they're not being who they really are. They put some bricks in front of them, and now we've got a brick culture. We got cultures where everyone has got these walls in front of them, and the true humans never really get to. And so now we look at each other as a set of they did, she did, he
Oh,
did, they did, she did, he did, they will do because they did that before. They're going to be like this. They're going to be. So we're looking at people through the projections of our imprints that we have created on them, which has probably nothing to do with them.
Right.
And that is where humility comes in really deeply. The humbleness to go, hold on a sec. So if we have been on the side of giving shame, being critical, of course, when we're mad, when we're upset, we're also the ones that project and have veneers on us as well. We're all humans. It's not just about others. When we're in that state, is to go, wow, I got to love and accept that I've been worked up. I'm also suppressed. I'm also sitting on stuff. Okay, I'm going to love and accept myself first. And when you do that, you can start to love and accept that propensity and that buildup in others.
Mm-hmm.
By softening the ridge with yourself, you allow more of that ridge to soften with others.
Right.
But you got to own it,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to not ever make it about other people's problems.
Right.
This is spiritual warriorship. When it's not they're not the fault of your reactions. When you can turn that around, then you're starting to master spiritual warriorship, which is like a fast evolutionary route to becoming a sage, a true wise being.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Wow. So we're almost 50 minutes into this, and I know you wanted to kind of cut it around this time. So is there anything that you want to leave us with? I mean, you've said so many sagacious kind of words, which I really love. Thank you for inspiring us this way. It's really amazing.
It's a joy, Randy. You know, enlightened power, enlightened heart, enlightened freedom, enlightened flow, and enlightened wisdom. These, I believe, are the foundational elements to run any home, any organization:
Mm-hmm.
power, heart, freedom, flow, and wisdom. So we have uh, a container which not only fulfills the goals of our families, of our organizations, but also evokes the best in our human spirit, the best in our human condition. We're in the era now where our humanity is paramount over our achievements on the outside. Our
Mm.
fulfillment on the inside is the paradigm we're in now for the next 1,000 years. And that's what will bring wholeness. So let's all join and evoke that in ourselves, to love and to accept the fullness of who we are. Love and accept that humans are going to have all forms of amazingness, flatness, and some things that are going to irritate us,
Mm-hmm.
and to continue to be the examples of a new way forward, starting with ourselves.
Namaste. Oh gosh, it's so good to talk to you. Thank you so much. It's really been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Randy. A real
Okay.
pleasure.
Have a wonderful day. Take care. Okay. Bye bye.